Let me now invite Professor Dilip Mandal. Professor Mandal, of course, is one of the most senior journalists in the country. He is one of them who stormed the Twitter with the end casteism in IIT, and of course we all were there in Twitter, and we all started holding the institutions accountable to suspend the casteist professor of IIT Kharagpur. And Professor Mandal is someone who has been interrogating, the Savarna domination in media, and of course he is also keenly watching what is going on in the university campuses. He is a keen observer. I met him in JNU, in Kolkata, in all the places. So I invite Professor Dilip Mandal to give his presentation. I'm really looking forward to you and many of our attendees.
So I was listening to the presentation of Shalini, and I just felt like crying, because actually I survived the turbulent 90s when Mandal Commission was implemented in 1990, and I was in Delhi, and everyone in my classroom, teachers and friends, everybody was saying, "Acha, tum Mandal Commission wale Mandal ho, tumhari wajah se itni problem hai." So just you can imagine, it's such a frightening experience to go to Delhi University, that if somebody sees asks for my identity and all that, what will happen, whether I survive or not, because it was such a violent time. So, and I've also seen in 2006 anti-reservation movement in Delhi, how upper caste, so-called whatever upper caste, they vacated the hospitals, thrown out all the patients in names and Safdarjung and many hospitals, and it was never documented how many of the patients actually died and all that. I was there as reporter, and all that I have seen. So yeah, it's very difficult to be Dalit Bahujan student in Indian academic space, and I was just thinking what was must be going on in the mind of that class of Seema Singh. And Professor Ratan Lal of Delhi University asked कि कैसे स्टूडेंट हैं, क्यों चुप रह गए, बोले क्यों नहीं. But I think this is not the right question to ask, because especially in STEM courses, the problem is that some sort of overt casteism is still being practiced. In social sciences, it's more covert, more nuanced, and some sort of sensitization has happened, but still it's not like that. I've seen in JNU there is many of the students there, I've seen them collecting data, how in the viva or oral examinations and all that, how discriminatory is the whole practice, because at that time 30% of marks were there for viva courses, and especially SST and OBC students, and also minorities, they were given less marks despite getting high and good marks in written part. So that is the problem. We all know, and there has been many reports, especially Thorat committee report and Mungrekar committee reports are there, how to go about it, what are the methods and ways to mitigate this problem. So yeah, those solutions are there, but it hasn't been implemented. That is the problem. I think the whole issue is about navigating this space and how to survive. Yeah, the question is about survival, because earlier these institutions were like agraharas or Brahmin colonies. All the students and all the teachers, they were from the same stock, and they actually thought that these spaces are for them only. Even if you see the 1931 census report of Maharashtra, you'll find that around 7,000 Brahmins, they mentioned their primary language, first language is English, whereas only one Dalit who mentioned English as his male as his language. I will try to find out that page of the census so that I can post it to the group. So that cultural capital and the social capital connections and networking they have used and they have translated into the education or whatever you say, intellectual capital, and they are now pretending as if they have become casteless. तो वो ये कह सकते हैं कि जाति कहाँ है, हम तो जाति नहीं करते, हमने तो अपने मेरिट से जो भी अचीव किया वो किया, और ये जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं ये ज्यादा जानते हैं इसलिए ये इस चीज को कर पा रहे हैं और आप कम जानते हो इसलिए आप किनारे हो, तो इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या है? अगर आप इंटरव्यू में अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं करोगे तो ऑब्वियसली हम आपको कम नंबर दे रहे हैं, प्रॉब्लम. But things changed after 1950, and then again some paradigm shift happened in 1990 and 2006, and after that you will see that especially the government institutions, you will find a diversified classroom. In many of the institutions, you will find more than 50% students from SC, and OBCs communities, and if you add the number of minorities in many of the institutions, the number will become 60% or so. But teachers, staff rooms, they remain as if time stopped for them. They were not changing the structure of the staff room. So that is the primary contradiction of Indian academia, upper caste dominated teacher staff room and SC/ST OBC dominated classroom, and that is actually leading to some sort of I don't know whether I should use the word bloodbath or not, but actually it's a bloodbath if you take everything. Suicide might be some extreme high intensity event, but discrimination and the things happen on some many subtle ways. So this is the I think this is the problem, and how to navigate this space, how to go about it, what is the solution, what we can do is the I think we have to ponder on that. And my prescription is we have to demand, we have to ask, and we have to intensify our demand for diversified faculty. That is very important, because without that I think things will not change unless we have diversified faculty. But that is not happening despite so many petitions and all that. Many questions were raised in the parliament, but that hasn't changed the landscape as far as faculty rooms are concerned. But still we have to raise this issue, with whatever might we have, with whatever resources we have. Other thing I think is to have solidarities amongst us. We have to align with all the persecuted communities. There should be a sort of larger solidarities between SC, STs, OBCs, even minorities, and a small section maybe of upper caste, progressive, whatever you say. And third, solidarity I think is more important, to have some sort of global solidarity. We need to align with Blacks, Jews, Romas, and all other communities. I think there is a huge possibility now because of social media and all other things. We have to actually, without internationalizing this issue, we will not be able to counter the strategies and tactics of upper caste. So Yeah, these are the three strategies should be for us. I will look forward because I haven't heard many of the presentations. So let's see what we can do. But we have to do something because we are not here to die. I mm, agree with Shalini. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Mondal, for again. I mean, if I can just speak for 30 seconds on that last point where Professor Mondal has left, that we need to sort of make it a global. And it's not that there was not an attempt that is being made. Professor Mondal himself has been very instrumental in social media to make it a global kind of case. And some of us would be remembering that, would of course remember that there was a time when in Durban summit, there was an attempt which was made by Dalit professors, Dalit Bahujan intellectuals to, sort of make caste at par with race. But then you would know that who were the sociologists, those who were basically quote unquote hired from India and sort of, chartered over there to sort of halt that process. And that's where that actually put the nail in the coffin. And that is why it has not become. And that is why in the case of Cisco, very thankfully that this equal opportunity, what is that, the California, probably I forgot their specific name. So they have come up with this case. They actually took the case up, and they actually in a way recognized the caste discrimination in the system.
One minute, Subhajit. Actually, I think this time is actually the right time to do such thing because of the caste is now discussed in the Western academia after this book of Isabel Wilkerson, and it's there on the table. And even Brandeis University, the Jewish university there in the Boston, they have included caste in the protected category. So I think this is the time we are at the right juncture of the history where we can intervene. So we have to write in international journals, and we have to internationalize the issue. That should be one of the agenda. Yeah. Sorry for interrupting.
Thank you so much, Dilip.